Back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up on this episode and subscribe. And if you're listening to us in our audio platforms, please download this episode, subscribe to the podcast, and download future episodes. I'm here to welcome not one, but two incredible guests today and to talk about Stonestreet Studios. One is Alyssa Rallo Bennett, who is a multi-hyphenate director, producer, and composer. She's also the artistic director of the Stonestreet Studios, which she co-founded with her partner, Gary O. Bennett, and she helped launch careers of actors such as Miles Teller, Rachel Brosnahan, Danny Ramirez, and so much more. We are also joined by Kelly Wong. She's an actor, producer, and director of public relations at Stonestreet Studios and is also an alum of the Stonestreet Residency program. So, ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thank you.
I'm so honored to have both of you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
for having us.
I love your podcast. I do.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. It means a lot. So let's get started. So, Alyssa, this is the first question. Could you describe Stonestreet Studios to my audience?
Yes. We are an independent film studio. And the kinds of projects and films, pilots, shorts, sometimes series, short form series we produce are very socially conscious and culturally diverse stories. And we try to find ways to make stories that are not polemic, but kind of represent different points of view, and through drama help people kind of get either inspired, raise awareness, and be entertained. So that's really that's what we do. But we also have a residency program. But I think maybe Kelly could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. And that's perfect, Kelly, because that goes into my next question. So how did you hear about Stonestreet Studios, and then why did you want to apply for the residency program?
Well, I first heard about Stonestreet Studios back in college, first year of college, actually. Stonestreet's residency program was one of the advanced studio option that we could take as part of the students' body at Tisch Drama. And a bunch of my peers and I, who were all very interested in film acting, film and TV, and even outside of acting, producing, directing, writing, were pretty set on our direction of taking Stonestreet as part of our advanced years. And that's what I did. And that actually really gave me the real life experiences of how production looks like, what behind the scenes look like, what it actually takes for, how many people it takes for a production to happen. And that really sets me off to the right path after I graduate. So yeah, that's a little bit of my experience with the residency program. And that's how I first heard and learned about Stonestreet.
Incredible. That's incredible. And I want to talk about the Stonestreet Residency with both of you, since you founded the programs, Alyssa and Kelly, you were a participant. So how does this residency stand out in both the film and academia worlds? And what do you look for in participants who want to be a resident?
So it's a unique program. It just doesn't exist anywhere else. And I guess it's because we're a real film studio and we train people by immersion in the film studio. And also our whole perspective of training actors or directors or editors, we train everybody because we're really saying that we're training people to be storytellers. So even actors, whether they have prior training or not, In the NYU Tisch program, they have 2 years at least of prior theater training. In our professional program, they can have prior training or not and come to us first if that's how they want to kind of go into the field. But we really try to help people understand, the multiplicity of talents that they might have that they might not know, because producing your own career is such a huge part of becoming, whether you're going to be a working actor, a working director. And there's so much more opportunity when you start to look at it that way and be immersed among people so that you can actually gain other skills, but you can also create a community where you might be more into producing and acting, whereas Kelly might be really good at public relations and also a fantastic actor and writer. And people have like different areas, and they realize that these tools are great. And we do things like try to introduce people to industry. So we do it on a regular basis. So everything people do at the studio is experiential. It's always working on set, different kinds of sets, and that's also working on real auditions. So like you would work on audition, but then it would change when you actually go meet an agent. So we bring in agents and casting directors because of this very unique program, and they get to like learn from them, but they also really audition with them. Yeah. And that audition process, it's a muscle that you also develop. It's a little bit different than actually what happens when you get on set. And so all these different angles of training and working, it's the real world before you actually just continue in the real world. So it kind of crosses academia or professional training and becomes a actual real experience. We make films, and that's what we do. We're a film studio, so we make films, and we make films with and for the actors and for people who are working with us, if they're directors or writers. And then they just continue on, and we help them do it themselves as well. So they're like always working on in multiple ways.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
So I don't know, Kelly, do you want to like say anything more about that?
So I think it's just like Alyssa mentioned, we produce pilots, features for these actors, and they are coming out of the program with projects that are already being distributed, that are already on these major streaming platforms, which I think really helps when they're trying to land their next big gig, which is I think a lot of actors, hyphenates are trying to do.
And it's amazing too, because the thing is, like when you for the students, I think they'll become very well prepared when they go face a audition, especially if they go audition for a Disney or a Netflix or an Apple TV, and see learn the ropes between this is a perfect zone for any entertainment person, especially not able to go back to college again. And I wish I was around to go to this program if I went to New York.
Yeah.
That's how it started, because people like you or I who were, probably a little back when, we didn't have anything like that. And we, you recognize how difficult it is to gain real experience that, or even use your acting training in a way that really helps you, or work with or how to work with directors, or for directors to work with actors and understand the actor's process. And just there just wasn't anything. So a lot of this program was created out of just realizing myself and my colleagues, we didn't have anything like this.
Yeah.
And you have had an incredible all-star group of alumni that have had success outside of the studio. I would like to share some of the names. Past students have included Idina Menzel, Miles Teller, Rachel Brosnahan, Beanie Feldstein, Camila Mendes. All of these alums have done incredible work. So what is it like when you see their success?
It's thrilling. It's thrilling. It's so because first of all, like so many alums are working in the industry. You may not know all their names, but they're working. They're working in all sorts of facets. But like we're so proud of Miles. Rachel Sennett is just an incredible example of a Stonestreet hyphenate who really learned how to produce and write as well, and met people. Well, she met Emma Seligman, who she did Shiva Baby with, and the film Bottoms that she was. I mean, it's so intelligent. Being a little bit older, I was like, I don't want to watch another coming of age, film. And I watched it because of Rachel, and I was like, oh my goodness, it was so aware. It was so socially conscious. It was so funny and, moving and inspiring. It was like the best coming of age, coming out of high school into college project that I'd seen. So we're, as you can tell, I'm super like Jack Quaid, Danny Ramirez, who's like the first actor who's in Marvel, a first Hispanic actor who's in a Marvel, has a major Marvel role. Also, people meet, like Miles met Danny when he came, they come back and talk and sometimes do work with us because they really are part of like an expanding community. And that's how Danny met Miles and some of the people that then helped him. I mean, people are very, we have kind of a helping others feeling and like take the competition out of it. Just sort of like, you are so different than anybody else, and trying to find what that is. And so I think that really helps people do better and be more authentic as artists. But yeah, I'm so proud. There's just so many of them working in so many places. I could go on, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we try to keep a very tight community. That's why we also have our yearly Granite Award, trying to bring past alums who are established back to the studio to celebrate their work, but also provide a chance for them to communicate with our current residency actors. It's just to keep the community tight and try to support each other as best as we can.
And that's amazing too, because the thing is, in all industry, whatever is the entertainment and performing, acting, producing, or the media industry, when it comes to podcasts or journalism industry, our networks are so important. And it sounds like the Stonestreet over 34 years has built a vast, powerful network that alumni can turn to and create some lasting relationships that could actually turn the industry upside down.
Yeah.
We hope to keep going with that, and to keep going. Like we have, we create and develop material, we produce it, and we're kind of, learning more. Distribution is the thing everybody's really struggling with in the industry. We just had Mark Duplass come and talk with us, and he's a leader in how he's starting to sort of break the walls down in distribution, so that projects that maybe a big studio isn't interested in because they don't think it's going to make the kind of money they want, but we think are valuable. They're starting, Mark Duplass is releasing it. They're releasing it anyway. And they're figuring out like new ways. And we're all trying to work on that. That's like the last frontier.
Yeah.
Especially with no matter what, like for example, with this podcast, we're celebrating 6 years this year, and it's amazing to say like this is an independent podcast that even though I don't have sponsors, but sometimes getting it and doing it yourself it's so empowering.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean you're an amazing example of exactly that. That artists have to really take hold of their entire career and their trajectory, and that it is possible. And it just takes us to work together, like you're saying, and then also to just keep learning and kind of be open, because like we sometimes think of ourselves as creators, but you're creating your life, you're creating your work, you're creating your, so I think it applies everywhere. And that's a big part of the program too, is just getting people to think in that wider way, in the macro as well as the moment.
Yeah. Our classes like create your own material, even like career management as part of the program do helps the actors to understand the business side of things. How do they brand themselves? How do they market themselves? Produce independent work when the larger platforms are not really looking at you. I feel like those are really helpful when you're just starting out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in addition to Mark, you also have other people that have come back, including Abby Kaufman. So what were some of the lessons that the audience learns from these talkbacks?
Well, we've been doing talkbacks for a long time, and our guests span from like Mike Myers to James Earl Jones, Susan Sarandon, Edie Falco. I mean, just have so many rich challenges and stories to tell. Avi Kaufman was such a, like, just having her talk about her perspective as a casting director and how she thinks and how she works. And she's so humble. Like these kinds of people, like we think are so far from us. It's just wonderful to hear them and see that they're just real people. And that, like you were saying, it's a people business, just like anything else. And it's only what we make it. And we try to bring in people that really have a good heart. Because one of the things that I found when I went to school was a very different vibe, which was people who were teaching weren't really working in the industry. And when they weren't working in the industry, they had some of them were good teachers, but for the most part, a lot of people were very out of touch with the challenge and the humility that the challenge creates. And they just didn't really, they used to sort of have a way of telling us that, like, well, it's really competitive and you might never work, and that's just sort of, it's just not helpful, but it's also not true. And so we really tried to turn that around. So to me, what's so wonderful about the residency and our studio is I love our resident artists who work with us, who make movies with us, who do a multiplicity of things and participate in the residency. And they're such good people and they care, and they're like so happy to be working with people who are, I'd say, a lot of younger people, but sometimes we have professional students of all ages. So there's no age limit on trying something and doing something new. Like if you didn't do it, at some point. And I think that's what makes the studio go so well. It's the kindness, it's the compassion, it's a sense of inclusion that really matters.
Yeah. And we have guests from all different kinds of backgrounds. Dominique Morisseau, that creates her own work, stage plays, versus someone like Mark Duplass, more indie filmmaker. So our actors can actually understand these different fields, the differences in these different careers, because we have hyphenates, people that want to go into different directions. So we try to bring in guests that different actors can all relate to and learn from. Yeah.
Which is amazing. I love that. I love to have the opportunity. Like when I was in school, I wish we had more people like that who were just like, we had some people that were working in the industry, but however, some of them were not ready to say, oh, you got to work on broadcasting on social media or like how to do live. But like the thing is, I agree, Alyssa, you need to have people that are currently boots on the ground, there and to give that advice necessary, because it'd be great to see some people build their own stuff on TikTok and also like using Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts to display their talent, because who knows, somebody from CAA or William Morris in Denver could also be looking at them and watching them.
Yeah.
They do. We make a lot of content with and for that we produce at a very high level. And we also, train them in our create your material. And we have something called script to screen. But I think the proof is in the pudding, in the sense that like we create projects like these micro movies and they go to festival. I just got back from the Beverly Hills Film Festival, which featured some of the actors from the residency. So they got to go and be part of the festival and meet other filmmakers and also get to see their work with an audience on a big screen, which we also do in New York, because we screen everything like sneak peek. We sneak peek all the things we do. So if you make a film with us and you're in it or worked on it in any way, you get to see your work in progress in a rough edit on a big screen, and then the next edit, and then it goes to festival. And now, in fact, we just met. We used to have a lot of our shorts get released in different venues or streaming platforms, but things have changed. But we just met up with a new distributor who wants to distribute our shorts in series form. So I'm really excited about that. But our feature film, that we make features with our upper level students. And we made a feature film called ReRun, which stars Christopher Lloyd, many other professional actors, and then all the younger roles, and their featured roles are actors who were in the residency. Because from our perspective, whether as a director or whoever is writing and directing, they're the best actors that we could possibly work with, because they're in the young roles. So that film's out on all the platforms right now. As we haven't, Kelly, maybe you want to mention Arrival, or, because that's like another.
Yeah. The Arrival is the one feature that we most recently distributed through Gravitas Ventures, and it is now available on all major streaming platforms. All actors in it are from our residency, and I think for most of them, it should be their first feature film that's being distributed. And we did a bunch of press that would also help with their industry presence and awareness. I think things like this really help our actors, after ending our program, to have the connections, have the networks, have that kind of industry presence to go off and, get their next bigger role or whatever direction that they're trying to do.
And that's incredible to say, hey, to have this on a streaming platform, to say, like, when I saw my friend Cameron, who's an actor on a Prime Video, I was like, oh my God, I got to see him. And like to have that feeling to say, I'm on Prime, I'm on this stream, I'm on Disney Plus, or I'm on Netflix, or I'm on YouTube. That's something that sends a lot and gives not only a boost of confidence, but also eyeballs that they can share with friends and family members, and even colleagues or potential mentors that could lead them to potential employers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's half the actors' work. So Nick, I remember Nick Walker, who's a wonderful actor and hyphenate himself, who came out of Stonestreet. He starred in Hamilton and on Broadway, also led the tour. He's always says his job as an actor and a hyphenate is getting work. And he says when he actually gets it, it's a vacation. And I think that was like a really cool way of saying things, and very healthy, So a certain amount of time goes into, how making your community. And that's why I think Stonestreet just like gets people, all working, making a community, making the work. I just think to be healthy as an artist, it can be very difficult if you're only trying to get work. So you have to be making it. And it's like a painter has to paint. And if he doesn't end up in it, or she doesn't end up in a museum right away, that's okay. They're still painting, you know? So I think because this is a collaborative field, it's really, you know, I think like if you were living in London as an actor in the theater, at least there's a national theater, which really sort of there's like a whole system. There's not really a system here. So it's like we have to create our own systems. And I think that's what we've been trying to do for quite some time, and hopefully are doing okay with it. I don't know.
Well, guys, well, seriously, you're almost at the 35th anniversary mark, and as Stonestreet prepares to celebrate its 35th anniversary in 2026, could you describe what do you think? And Kelly and Alyssa, I would love to hear both of your response for this. What else do you think Stonestreet Studios' legacy is?
You want to talk first, Kelly? It's fine.
No. I think truly our legacy is the actors and the hyphenates that all of us coming together and produced the socially conscious works that we've been trying to produce for the past 35, approaching 36 years. And that's, I mean, that in itself, I feel like says a lot about what we are trying to do as artists, with all the, you know, political climate that's in, like, that we are going through right now. Art is like what is going to save us, or what is going to at least keep us going through tough times. And yeah, I feel like that is how I view Stonestreet.
Yeah, I'm so proud. I mean, I'm proud of Kelly. It's like it's a lot. There's quite a few people that work at Stonestreet who came out of our program, and it's because we are training people to be our colleagues, and that genuinely happens. That they work all over the place, all over the globe. So I hope that we're spreading good work, goodwill, and that sense of, you know, creativity and kindness. You know, I think that's part of our legacy. But I guess, and also the work that we've created, ReRun, The Pack, those are feature films that we've made, The Arrival, Aberrant. They are, you know, our body of work. So it's a reflection of all these wonderful people and all the work. And as a director, and as someone who just loves being a storyteller myself, I started as an actor, but I love directing. I love music. I love, you know, we're just creating. I just want to keep doing the work and hopefully reflecting. And it's working on things that make us look at ourselves and challenge ourselves, take risks, do the things that are kind of out of, you know, a little bit of out of reach, because I think that stretches us. So I'm hoping that we all keep doing that and passing that on, because basically we're just a planet of people that, you know, keep looking at what's going on in the world and how does this connect,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say this is amazing, because as our recording, we're entering the final days of the school year. So Alyssa, Kelly, what advice do you have for students who are watching us right now, who are in near like their junior year, entering their senior year of high school, or their sophomore year, entering their junior year, and then maybe senior year, entering their freshman year of college? What do you look for? What do you recommend advice, like how, if they're interested in applying for your program, what advice would both of you share with them?
Well, there's two different ways you can do the program. And if you are in a college or not, if you're in a college, you can apply for credit through NYU Tisch Drama if you want the credit. But you can also apply directly through the studio for the very same program to do it as a professional, should you not want to go in the direction of NYU's credits and what they cost. So you can apply directly to Stonestreet. And we do have these 6-week summer programs that are intensive, and they are really like an entire semester worth of, it's like an 8-credit course that you take that is fully immersed in our film studio, and you get working on everything. I would just recommend, like, if you are interested in directing, acting, or writing or producing, that taking the, program at Stonestreet just kind of gets you right into working and meeting people as well as creating, making contacts. So I think they can contact Ivy at stonestreet.net. And she's the managing director. She interviews everybody first. Just we care if people are taking the program, for the right reasons, and make sure that it's a good fit, because we really care about the cohort that we're going to have.
Yeah, and I'd recommend just to stay updated through social media, follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and also subscribe to our newsletter. And everything can be found on our website, stonestreet.net.
Alrighty, and guys, if you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, visit our channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Speaker. Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JSCOB. Elyachar. Now, are you on social media? I'm on social media too. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, and YouTube. Jacob Elyachar, JACOB, ELYACHAR. If you want some more New York City content of all the places I've been when I was in New York, visit jakes-shake.com. Once again, jakes-shake.com. Alyssa, Kelly, thank you so much for spending time with me today, and congratulations on Stonestreet's continued success, and congratulations on the completion of the school year.
Thank you so much, Jacob.
Thank you so much. And we hope to see you in Chelsea, New York City, next time you're there.
Absolutely. I will go make sure to let you guys know when I'm coming. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, have a great one, everybody. Goodbye.